a question live on camera, join this link with StreamYard. Once you join inside of StreamYard, we can only have a maximum of 10 people in at any given time. And so you'll enter into our private chat and say, hey, I want to ask Steven about this. I want to ask him about PPC, SEO design, catalog troubles, whatever it might be. I then will select your question and add you into my stream. After we finish our conversation, I'll remove you from the stream and you can continue watching here on YouTube. We want to rotate through as many people as possible and offer a format that's never been done before. Basically, it's like the radio. When somebody calls up, asks their question, they go on the air, and they do the next interview side by side. I want to be able to talk to as many Amazon sellers as possible because I love talking to Amazon sellers. That's why we brought this StreamYard format along. So again, just log in with a link in StreamYard. We'll have that link at the top of this video here in the comment section. If you want to be alerted about the link to join StreamYard or you want to be alerted about other Amazon news, go over to myamazonguy.com/subscribe. Put your email address in right here. That's our newsletter. We reach thousands of Amazon sellers and virtual assistants and everybody that wants to learn about things that are happening in the Amazon space. And as a heads up, if you join the StreamYard and don't ask a question in the chat within 2 minutes, we're going to remove you because we're capped with the number of people that can join the StreamYard. So if you just want to watch, you don't want to ask a question on camera, just watch here at YouTube, youtube.com/myamazonguy. If you want to be a part of our live Ask Me Anything, where you ask Stephen Pope, that's me, a question live on camera, join this link with StreamYard. Once you join inside of StreamYard, we can only have a maximum of 10 people in at any given time. And so you'll enter into our private chat and say, hey, I want to ask Stephen about this. I want to ask him about PPC, SEO design, catalog troubles, whatever it might be. I then will select your question and add you into my stream. After we finish our conversation, I'll remove you from the stream and you can continue watching here on YouTube. We want to rotate through as many people as possible and offer a format that's never been done before. Basically, it's like the radio. When somebody calls up, asks their question, they go on the air and they do the next interview side by side. I want to be able to talk to as many Amazon sellers as possible because I love talking to Amazon sellers. So that's why we brought this StreamYard format along. So again, just log in with a link in StreamYard. We'll have that link at the top of this video here in the comment section. If you want to be alerted about the link to join StreamYard or you want to be alerted about other Amazon news, go over to myamazonguy.com/subscribe and put your email address in right here. That's our newsletter. We reach thousands of Amazon sellers and virtual assistants and everybody that wants to learn about things that are happening in the Amazon space. And as a heads up, if you join the StreamYard and don't ask a question in the chat within 2 minutes, we're going to remove you because we're capped with the number of people that can join the StreamYard. So if you just want to watch, you don't want to ask a question on camera, just watch here at YouTube, youtube.com/myamazonguy. Well, hello. Welcome to the My Amazon Guy podcast. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm super excited to be doing this live format today. This is groundbreaking for us. We've never done it this way before. We have about 10 guests in the behind the scenes ready to go on camera today. We're going to start out by taking questions from those people on camera, and then we'll rotate through. So I'm really excited to do this. And it looks like we've got a full list of people on the behind the scenes. So we're going to jump right in. The way that this works, I bring somebody on camera like Jeff here. Jeff's going to kick us off. He's been our guinea pig. Thanks for coming on, Jeff. And then after Jeff asks his question, we're going to remove him. He'll continue watching on YouTube, and then we'll bring the next guest on. So we got 10 guests ready to roll. So Jeff, ask your question.
My question is, during the holiday season, how do sellers stay in stock, not go out of stock, lose that buy box, and all the nightmare things that happened? happen with that, considering the new restock limits that Amazon has set? Because I could have an entirely full warehouse and not be able to ship to FBA.
So right now, restock limits is a big hurdle. And we know that having shipping constraints where you're worried about going out of stock and you've got lots of inventory, how are you going to navigate all of this? Plus holiday rush. So even if you weren't dealing with restock limits, you might have some pressure just to get things in on time. So this has happened 2 years in a row now, right around the same timeline, right at the end of October, restock limits came in and they slashed us like 65%. It was pretty brutal this year. Very, very difficult to navigate. My best advice is, number one, go into your shipments and make sure you delete out anything that hasn't gone out the door. And Amazon is counting that against you right now. Tip number two, I would say, is to create FBM listings. You're not going to be able to ship everything into FBA, so you're going to need to take some FBM powers. This means you need a 3PL, you need a warehouse to do some of those things. So Jeff, how did I do? Any follow-up on that?
Yeah, I knew one of the things, or I thought one of the things you were going to say is raise prices to slow down sales. However, I have tried that in the past, and then Amazon hits me with 3Ps that are selling cheaper than I am, or off Amazon,
Yes.
Walmart is shipping. So then all of a sudden I lose the buy box. I raise the price by $1, but they still take the buy box away from me. Any tips on that?
So you can't have a higher price on Amazon and have a lower price on Walmart or another 3P. You're going to get removed, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do about that element. So if you have multi-channel situations or control, raising your prices across all of them is probably the play,
Right.
especially if you have a stocking issue. But in the case of your situation, Jeff, I think that 3PL FBM mechanism is probably the best option.
Okay. Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What about the strategy of copying a listing, inputting a new UPC, and then shipping product in under a new UPC, because now you're going to get a new ASIN?
So that would be against terms of services, unfortunately, duplicating a product on purpose. If you have a restock problem, you're going to lose access to shipping on any of the products, not just a single one anyway. So that won't solve it if it's a restock issue. If it's just a velocity issue, or you're shipping in a new product, you're capped at 200 sometimes on new product launches. But I can't see a scenario where you would want to create a second ASIN for the same products, because restock limits would affect the whole global, not just the specific. So I can't think of a single situation where I would want to do that.
Okay.
Well, Jeff, thanks for coming in and starting us off here. We're going to go to, and by the way, we're going to kick Jeff out of the stream so we can make room for the next person. So kicking you out, Jeff, there. Catey coming in. Katie's our next guest today. Catey, thanks for also pinning this out with us. This has been monumentous for me. I'm actually really excited about having this format online and finally getting it right after a month of trying different things. So I'm really excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on, Catey.
Thanks for keeping at it. I heard you had some issues before, so I appreciate you getting us all in here, trying to get everything working.
So ask me anything.
I am going to focus on new product launches. I've got a couple of brands very established. They're new to the game of launching something without any reviews. We're trying everything to get as many sales, as many reviews as possible. I don't want to do anything black hat, so I'm wondering what some of your tips are to help us get reviews on brand new listings.
So I'm going to answer this question in a way that you may not see coming.
Okay.
I don't think reviews matter. And I'll show you why. I launched my mom box in 2021, and I generated $144,000 in sales in the first 30 days. And I didn't even have a review until 2 weeks in. And by the time Mother's Day rolled around, I had a single product review. I was able to rank this product, and I'm going to share my screen here to showcase this briefly. I was able to rank this product for 4,000 keywords in under 2 weeks, index that is, and I was able to get to organic rank #1 for gifts for mom 24 hours before Mother's Day. and single product review at the time. So I don't think reviews matter as much as people think they do. What I do think matters, though, is when you can get that #1 new release badge. So the good news is you can launch products and do crazy things like I did here. You can go back and check the BSR ratings to like hold me accountable and see like how I pulled it off. So you can see it's like right here where it did really well. And then, you know, we got all the way up to a BSR of 820 right there on May 8th. So this is the history of the product. Now, as you can see from the rest of the chart here, I got some bad news. It does not hold year round. And the second Mother's Day when this came out, we got all the way back up to 2000 top BSR, but only did $67,000 the second year. And that was a sign of overall softening of sales on this product. Now, having said that, I am going to give you the answer you do want somewhat here. And that is go really low price when you first launch a product. Any sales are good sales. You need sales to get sales. Sales lead to reviews. 1 out of 100 people will leave a review. Now, all of the past tips that people gave for review generation, rebates, using email requests, all of those things really are not even worth the time of day. Some of them have been banned practices. Obviously, can't incentivize reviews, anything like that. So I wouldn't even try any of those these days. So any follow-up on the review side for you, Katie?
I'm wondering, do you have a video where you teach us how you were able to rank so well for so many keywords?
I have plenty of videos on this question. So you might want to check out myamazonguy.com/SEO. There's a bunch of, I've got an SEO masterclass, about 70 minutes that answers that question. The tips that I give, though, I'll give you like 3 actionable tips today. Tip number 1, make sure you put 500 words of copy inside of the A+ content that is crawlable text that's not inside an image. I've been preaching this one for several years. It works. Tip number 2, add a brand story and put in lots of photos into the brand story and fill out the alt text with 100 characters of keywords in each photo that is unique. Make sure some of them are Spanish and whatnot, but make sure they're unique text going into that. And that's going to be very, very beneficial because you're going to have the ability to have a lot more indexing show up faster. Also, the brand story, which I'll show my screen again, it has some really cool elements inside of the fact that you have so many different photos here. So there's like 4 photos there, another 4 photos there, another 4 photos there. And each one of these, if you inspect the element, has alt text. My new name is Mommy, established, 2022, bath and body care gift set, right? So this is kind of a lazy alt text, but the more sophisticated you get, the more keywords you can index for and have that. And then the third and final tip I'll give you is you need to have some text on the main image. It's beneficial if it's inside of the packaging. But the fact is, when you can see the word mom here show up, it's going to help me rank for mom terms. I just guarantee it. The consumer is going to click on it. So if you have a product where you don't have words on the main image, you may want to adjust the packaging, and you could Photoshop something in to get started to get that going. But those are the tips I'll leave you with today for some SEO optimization. A lot of opportunity for that. Anything else in your mind, Katie?
One final question about alt text. Because the customer doesn't see it, is it okay to just do like keyword stuffing? Is it better to have 100%. Phrases? Keyword stuffing's fine? Okay.
Keyword stuff it as much as possible. Awesome. You can even put Spanish behind some of them. No commas are needed. Commas are counted against your character count. There is a moving target on bytes versus characters in the search term field, not confused with the alt text field. But in the alt text, it is character based 100% of the time. So awesome. Don't use commas. Don't worry about having readability. Just keyword stuff the heck out of it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
All right, Katie, you can finish watching live on the YouTube channel. The next 2 people we're going to bring on is Sean, and then Krissan will be the next 2 people. Looks like Sean might have left the stream. You're back. Okay, I see you here, Sean. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Stephen. How are you?
Thanks for coming on. This is the first time that we're successfully pulling this off, and I'm really enthralled. So tell me what your Amazon question is today.
So next year we're looking to expand, considering remote fulfillment versus other options. Just wanted to get your opinion on that.
So expanding, remote fulfillment, NARF, those kinds of topics?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you sell today, if I can ask?
Amazon US.
Okay. So NARF was automatically enrolled on most accounts, depending on your, you're in skincare, you're showing right there. Your category may be trickier in NARF because of NHP, which I don't even know what the acronym stands for, to be honest, but that's basically the FDA in Canada. And so maybe it's like National Health Products or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so you have to get some approvals to sell this in other countries, I suspect. NARF will auto-enroll products that don't need approvals. And so if you have something that's skincare related that's not necessarily requiring some of those things or documentations, you might be automatically enrolled. So I would check that first. The second thing, though, is if that doesn't work at all, I would go ahead and load your data in the US. So there's global data connections. And Canada is the first place I would go. I just kind of assumed you wanted to go to Canada.
Yeah.
The next places I would go would be Germany and then the UK in that order. And then from there, it doesn't matter where you go. So Canada is about 7% of the US sales. The UK is a little bit bigger, but not much. It's like 11 to 15%, depending on your category. And then Germany is like a sizable 25 to 35%. So that's why Germany is really worth doing the translations for and whatnot. So category specific documentations, I won't speak to further, but I will say this, the more product you ship, obviously the lower your logistics costs and the economy of scale, right, but the more risk you assume. And so generally speaking, how many SKUs you have, Sean?
We have 7 parent ASINs.
7 parent ASINs and how many childs approximate, just like top level?
Probably 35.
35. Okay. So of your 35, what sells the best in the US, there's a 75% chance those figures will be the same in other countries. Now, the 25% will really throw us off, but you really can't solve for that or predict it. So I would ship in similar numbers to what works in the States to other countries, and don't ship too much, like do test shipments. So right, the number one rule of Amazon is don't go out of stock. That does not apply to international, right? Like you should ship in a modest quantity to test the market so that you don't end up wasting your product, shipping into a market you can't even move in, paying for all the logistics and everything. So if you're just in the US today, the first thing I would do is get NARF on. Second thing I would do is ship some product directly into Amazon FBA at Canada. And you don't need to do every 35 SKUs. But I would take the top of your portfolio and ship in about 7% of a run rate. So if you sell, 1,000 units a month, ship in 7% of that to start and see what happens in Canada. And you could pick 5 SKUs, you could do 10 SKUs, and ship it directly from the US into Canada. There are some that, they will try and charge you duties again, but there's this thing called NAFTA. Of course, you're not supposed to be charged duties, but it's also a pain in the butt to try and fight it. So in your first shipment, I would just be like, screw it, just get it in. Right. And then as you try and scale this, you're going to want to ship directly into Canada from your manufacturing source. And for most people listening to this, that's going to be directly from China. For you, I suspect you might be making it in the States. And if that's the case, you're all in the States anyway, so none of this will apply. But if you are manufacturing in China and listening to this, you don't want to go directly from China to these locations initially because you need to test the market, prove you can sell it before you start trying to learn all that logistics hassle. It'll be easier for you to send everything to your 3PL or warehouse in the States, hold it there, send small shipments, and go out to the rest of the country. Sometimes skincare items and other smaller objects can be flown, and you don't have to wait for boat and do some of those other things, and you can get away with that, especially on the first shipments to keep costs. It's okay if margins are stinky when you're first testing a market, because the amount of time to try and lower the margins doesn't have an economy of scale when you first start out. So, Sean, how did I do? Did that give you a starting point?
Absolutely. Great response. I appreciate your time.
All right, Sean, thanks for coming on the show today. We really appreciate everybody who's doing this today. We got about 10 people in the back ready to roll. So, Sean, feel free to keep watching from our YouTube channel here. We're going to kick you out here so we can make room for the next guest. So we're going to have Krissan go next, and then Sydney, you're on deck after that. So, Krissan, welcome to the show, and hopefully I'm saying your name correctly.
Hi, it's Krissan.
Krissan, thank you for correcting me. Thank you.
No problem. So I was just curious if you have some general ideas about advertising budget for a holiday. I'm curious, like how much of my November budget I should save for Thanksgiving and beyond. If you have any thoughts around that.
So budgeting questions are typically more of a corporate question, less of the mom and pop small $1 million to $2 million brands. So when I hear budget, I hear I need to get approvals or talk to somebody. So I don't want to make any assumptions. So tell me, in your situation, why do you have a budget?
We're just trying to be cautious of our spend. We are a small company.
Got it. Okay. So what's the worst thing that could happen? You go out of stock and you overspend on ads, in my opinion. But for you, it could be totally different. So what are you worried about?
I just, I have been given hey, spend what we spent last year. And I'm already spending quickly. And so I'm worried that I'm going to get to Thanksgiving and not have any of, what I was told to spend left.
Okay.
I'm not worried about running out of inventory or anything like that. We do manufacture here in Oklahoma, and we can do just-in-time inventory, and I have a ton of FBA inventory. I shipped in, luckily, before my restock limits went down.
You're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I shipped in August. I don't know why, but I'm glad I did. So I'm not worried about running out of any inventory. I'm just worried about I'm going to spend too much of my budget before Thanksgiving actually hits.
Okay. What's your ACOS or your TACOS? One of those two, or give me both.
My ACOS is 19%.
Okay. So that's obviously an attractive ACOS for most categories. And then do you know your TACOS by chance?
I don't.
Okay. So for those that don't know how to calculate TACOS, for those that are watching, that's where you take your total ad spend and divide it by your total sales, not just your ad sales. And the reason why I asked that question is because it can help us answer your situation. So if, for example, today at a 19% ACOS, you were at 10% TACOS, you're probably underspending a little bit. But if you told me we're at 20% TACOS, you're being aggressive, and then you might want to pull back. As you enter into the Black Friday rush, if you're not worried about stockouts, it's very difficult to answer what should the budget be. It's very difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach a principle about TACOS. Generally speaking, you want to be somewhere between 11 and 15% TACOS. And right now, due to PVC costs going up, most people are in that 13 to 15%. So if you're trying to forecast what the budget should be, forecast the revenue target, then tack on your TACOS goal, that's your budget. So if, for example, today you had I'm going to use easy math numbers. Let's say you did 100K in revenue this past month in October and a 10% TACOS. And you think that in November you're going to do 150K and in December you're going to do 250K. And you wanted to maintain 10% TACOS. We'll simply put 10% of 150K, 15K budget for November, 10% of 250K in December, 25K budget. That's how I would do the budget. Does that framework feel like it's going to lead you to the answer to your question?
That makes sense. Yeah. I was planning on doing some crazy math and it didn't make sense to me. So that makes sense to look at the TACOS for the forecasting of it. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I like simplifying formulas down whenever we can. So thank you. For any follow-up questions? I really liked your question, by the way.
Thank you. No, that's it. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, you can continue watching on the YouTube channel. Thanks for coming on today. So we've got next, we're going to have Sydney come on next. And then I don't know how to say your name, Vaibhav, but I just butchered it. I apologize in advance. So we're going to have Sydney come on next. I'm looking in the back room here to see if I can find Sydney. I think we might have lost Sydney. So we're going to go to the next person in line. So Sydney, if you're still watching, feel free to rejoin us here.
Hello, right. I am Vaibhav. I am calling from India, Delhi.
Welcome from India. What is your question today?
My question is that I have just learned that I am doing keyword targeting on a product, kitchen product, And I have learned that Amazon is actually doing product targeting also in the same campaign. And in the placement tab, I can see that ACOS for the product pages ads is twice as that of keyword targeting. And I don't know how to add negatives to it. I tried to do some research, but there is no option. It feels like an auto campaign running, and it is showing my product on irrelevant pages also. Like selling a big bowl, but it's showing it on small bowls as well, so it won't convert.
Okay, so I'm going to try and understand the heart of your question. I understand you've got some cost questions as well as the keyword targeting and potential
Yes.
placements and negatives. So,
Yeah.
so you're saying that your ACOS for the product page is double than the rest of search. That's unusual. I suspect that you might want to put in a bid modifier for top of search. Have you done that before?
No, I have not done that, but the top of the search is also, it is slightly, yeah, it is more expensive than rest of the search. So we don't want to do that also. I mean, it's running, the campaign is doing overall fine now, so we don't want to tinker with it. But this is like, if we could add negatives to the product pages, then our ACOS will go lower.
So to lower ACOS, there's generally speaking only two mechanisms that work at scale. And by the way, we do have a full stream. If you're watching on the live right now, just be patient as the next guests go off. There'll be room for you guys to come in. We're going to go a little longer today to get to as many people as we can because I'm really excited to get this format online. And by the way, Lay, you're next in line. All right. So if you're trying to lower ACOS, and it's an auto or a broad match campaign, is it one of those two by chance?
No, it is. I'm only running phrase.
Okay.
Phrase keywords.
So with auto and broad, negations is the name of the game. When you negate keywords on an auto campaign and a broad match, you can lower the cost very rapidly, and you should be doing this on a weekly basis. On a phrase match campaign, your mechanism is entirely bid dependent and not necessarily there's hardly any negation work to do on a phrase campaign because any combination of that phrase, if you got a good ACOS, you're pretty happy. So to lower a cost down for this, we might have to get a little bit more creative. Instead of giving you an advertising solution, because you're pretty happy with the ACOS, it sounds like you just want to get more efficient. I'm going to give you the answer of looking at the search query performance report. Have you ever done that before?
Yes, I have tried that. But the thing is, in the search query performance report, it is not showing the ASINs that it is showing my ads on. It is just showing the keywords. I'm doing keyword targeting and it is displaying my ad on product pages.
So for those that haven't looked at the search query performance report, this is an amazing thing. It's inside of the brand analytics dropdown. It's free, tracks on a weekly basis. It does at the brand level as well as the ASIN level. And you can see all these keywords here. And so what I would do is if you look at this list and you found, how many keywords are in your phrase campaign that we're talking about today?
There are maybe, I think 25, 30.
25 to 30. Okay. So I got two tips. Tip number one, create 4 new campaigns and slough off 5 keywords per campaign. That could also bring down the cost quite a bit. That's tip one. And that's actually a really good tip. I think you should do that immediately and test it. Leave all 25 on that original campaign, but create new campaigns for each 5 of the ones you think are going to slough off. And generally speaking, it's going to be the 20 keywords that don't get as many impressions as the 5 that do. What happens is about 5 keywords will take 80% of the impressions. And if you go look at your campaign right now and you see that's the case, then we've just proven you need to segment more. But anyway, so if the product selection for those 25 keywords was the same product, then very different situation than if it was 25 keywords and 5 products, then the segmentation would be even more of a focal point to lower down segmentation costs. So that's another thought. How many products are in the campaign?
2. There are just 2 child ASINs.
Okay. So, and it is like a color size variation or what kind of difference?
It is a package quantity variation.
Quantity.
2 instead of 3.
Okay. So if you look at the data, which one does better, the smaller quantity or the larger quantity?
Yeah, I have 3 ad groups. In one ad group, the smaller is working better. In the second, the larger is working better.
So you're getting mixed results. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting mixed results.
So there could be certain keywords that do better for higher quantity, and you have
Yeah.
25 keywords. So
Yeah.
look at that data very closely and figure out, okay, maybe I need to have these 10 keywords on this smaller quantity and these 15 on the larger quantity. There could be plural words that show up on the search term report.
And if I can add one more point, I ran a video targeting also in this, and there is cases where the ACOS for one keyword is 10% in keyword targeting, but it is like 60% in video ads. I don't know how much this much variation works.
I'm not sure I understand that question entirely. I understood you were talking about video ads, but
Yeah, I'm saying the ACOS for the video ads is for some keyword it's like more than 5 times. Sometimes.
the video is way more expensive. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
at times. Sometimes it's cheaper also.
Yeah, the video will be more expensive, but often will perform really well if the video is really good. So getting high CTR, getting some conversion data going is really good. So I started showing the search term report, and then I never actually demoed it. So let me do that real quick, and then we're going to go to our next guest. So inside of here, if you see one of these keywords in your campaign that's towards the top of this list, make a dedicated, isolated campaign for that one keyword by itself. And then I'm going to recommend that you add that keyword to your main image packaging. And I believe that you're going to see some awesome results on that campaign. So, if we use one of my soap packaging, for example, here. So like, let's say that Mountain Air soap was the keyword, and making that gigantic on the main image could lead to higher results on that one campaign. And you're just going to see it take off. So if you mirror the keyword to the imagery, the design, and the text on the page, make sure it's in the title of the product, the image of the product, your performance will go up. I guarantee it. We've seen this time and time again. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is if you go into a campaign so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sort by spend. So I've spent $37,000 in the last 65 days. And inside of here, I'm going to go into a broad match campaign. So I found one. Here's my spa box, mom box. And we're going to go into the ad group, and we're going to go into the negative targeting to demo this. So we have 25 keywords with negative targeted. And then here's my search terms. And so inside of the search terms, and you talked about doing phrase match. If you find a combination that certain words do better than the other, and here's an actual example of this. Afterbirth could be the phrase match keyword, gift. But Afterbirth Essentials for Mom Gift Basket could perform differently versus Afterbirth Gifts for Mom, right? And so you may need to have a different bid on each of those keywords. So your phrase match may need to be segmented further. And on one ad group, you might want to negate an exact match of a select keyword showing up on the phrase match search data. And a lot of people I've just lost on the stream because that was hard to follow. But essentially the keywords that are used by consumers will give you different ad cost results. So segment as much as possible to factor that in. So here is a keyword, new mom gifts for moms after birth, 21% ACOS. But new mom gifts for women, 94% ACOS. Why is there such a disparity between those two keywords? Very similar on the phrase match, new mom gifts for women, but the word after birth, for whatever reason, is making this thing take off quite a bit. So how did I do? Did I give you some things to action today?
Yes, I find your suggestion very useful, and I will try to implement it.
Perfect. Please do return a report. I'd love to get an update. We'll bring you on again so we can do that. Thanks for coming on today. Feel free to continue watching on the live stream on YouTube there. We're going to bring in Lay next. And Geraldine, feel free when we transition guests to help me find them and bring them in. So where is Lay in the back end here? I think we might have lost Lay. So let's go. So we got For the Love of Canada. Are they still here? All right. So we lost them. So next we're going to go to Nasib. You're next in line. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
Very good. I'm guessing you're calling in from the other hemisphere. I see it's dark over there.
No, I just like it dark. You can see that there's some light. I'm in Southern California.
All right. Southern California, but living in the dark. You're a vampire. I got it. All right.
Yep. Essentially.
What's your question today?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, how are you able to manage like hundreds of accounts when I'm like just, trying to manage just one? More so like the SOPs and the processes that, you sort of have in place.
All right. So this is a question of scale. And so scale, complexity, and all of that is very difficult to do if you don't have organization to allow the scale to exist. So you need to focus on writing down a plan and writing down what you want, right? So if you want, Nasib, to own 5 accounts, you need to write that down, and then also what's your why. So I don't actually think that's your question though. So let me narrow this down a little bit. So how do you scale one account versus multiple accounts? Probably the same question for you. Or are you just trying to figure out how I deal with the chaos? Help me out.
Honestly, both. But even so, even the processes also works, because like I do get the mindset part as well. It is like, you know, I want to scale from 1 to 3 accounts and more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just how you think I'd be able to do that? Like, fine, yeah, I get the plan, but is there anything more sort of specific in terms of like processes, SOPs that you particularly have that you know, do for your clients, I guess?
Okay. So what is your goal? Is your goal to just grow lots of product, or what's your goal?
Yeah. Catalog expanding, and how to do that on like an efficient pace or efficiently as possible.
Got it. So grow, but make a profit. So if I ask you this question on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being profit at the cost of growth, 10 being growth at the cost of profit, what's your number?
I'd say about a 6.
6. Okay. So you want to grow a little bit more than you make profit. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're not going to grow super fast, but you're going to grow. And so how many products do you launch a year?
About at this pace, about like 9 or so. 9 or so. Yeah. All
right. So you're going to launch 9 products in the next 12 months. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And these products that you're going to launch, well, actually, first, how many products are currently on the account that you
around 40? And I should change that number. Obviously now I've gotten to the point where I can expand more. So I guess for the next year or so, I should launch about like another 25 to 30.
Got it.
So yeah.
Okay, so that's I'd say you're going to beat your 6 is what I'm hearing from you. So if you're a 6 and you're launching as many products as you are compared to your current portfolio, you're probably going to be more like a 7.5. That's my prognosis. So I think you're going to hit target. Now, how do you come up with your products? Like, what's your stick? Are you an expert? Are you a hobbyist? What do you do?
I'd say more of a hobbyist. I just want to see how far I can take my business, more so than what it can do for me, I guess.
Okay. Let me clarify my question. Are you a product expert on these new products?
Yes, you could say that.
Okay. So if you understand and know things that other people don't know, you could infinitely scale, right?
Yes.
So you positive prognosis, like from a big picture standpoint, I have a positive view of your answers. You have the ability to scale and grow and sell new products, and you have an advantage, right? You understand the market. So those are good things. All right. So the heart of your question, I feel like this probing was helpful for me to get to the bottom of it. But the heart of your question is like, okay, how do I do this carefully? Right? Like, how do I, so like, that's the heart, right? Yeah. So do you have support? Do you have help? Do you have a rule set? These are some of the questions circling in my mind. So let's tackle a couple of these down the list. So are you a one-man band, or do you have a team?
I have a team, but I feel like I could add on to them because they were there to build my account to where it is now, but I feel like scaling past that, I'm not sure if they're capable of that.
Okay. So this might be an uncomfortable question. You don't have to answer this, but can I get an idea of what your sales are?
I'm doing around 80 to 85 right now, 1,000 a month.
Okay. All right. So going from the 1 million a year mark to the 2 million a mark is incredibly different than going from 0 to the 1 mil mark. And so you have to recreate your business.
Yeah.
Right. And so that doesn't mean fire your staff. That just means that like how you think and do business will need to necessarily be different moving forward. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So in your opinion, what do you think's holding you back?
Knowing what to do.
Okay. Knowledge. Okay. All right. So you told me you have high knowledge in the products, though.
Mhm.
So where is your knowledge lacking? Is it inside of like the marketing? Is it inside of the operations? Which part are you more worried about?
It's more so what I can take off like my, I guess, hands. And with the team that I have, like, I can't exactly explain every single thing. And obviously they don't have the same picture, yeah.
Okay.
That's maybe, yeah.
So I'm going to give you a trick question. All right.
Sure.
Which should you delegate? What you understand or what you don't understand?
What I should.
What you do or do not understand should you delegate? Which of the two?
I feel like I should know what I delegate to a certain extent. Because I'd have to explain and have that same sort of picture in their minds as well.
Now, what should you outsource? What you understand or what you don't understand?
What I don't understand, menial tasks.
You got it.
So on.
Okay. So delegate what you understand, outsource what you don't. So to grow your team, if you want to keep it in-house, you need to delegate what you understand because you need to train them yourself. You need to write the SOP, and then you need to be able to be qualified to check on it. So if you are the best in the world at product sourcing, make sure that you have product sourcers that work in-house under you, that you are the one that score them. If you're really bad at PPC, outsource that quick.
Yeah.
Right. And because if you hire a PPC person, you won't know if they're good or bad. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be better just to outsource and try an agency or something like that. All right. So I went deep on this one today because I really liked your question. I was feeling the vibes of it. So how did I do? Did I give you a starting point?
I appreciate, 100%. I really appreciate that you went so in depth with me. It's been something that I've been struggling for a while, and I just needed, I guess, that reaffirmation. Yeah.
I'm also getting a reaffirmation right now too that I am so glad we're doing this video format. Like I feel so good about doing this.
I love it. I got that email.
I was super close to like I'll just never do it live again, or I'll just do Q&A with reading comments, which I do and I love that too. But I wanted to level up. I wanted to grow.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's amazing how you find the time and like just to do like this sort of thing. I really appreciate that, and we all do, I'm sure. It's amazing how you do it, honestly.
Well, I appreciate the comments. I'm going to kick you out now. You can keep watching on the YouTube channel, and we're going to go to our next guest. Thanks so much for coming on, by the way.
Bye.
All right, we'll see you. All right, so let's go next to Robert. So let's pull Robert in here. Welcome to the My Amazon Guy Show, Robert.
Sorry, I'm actually in here. Hi, you guys are now taking up my Tuesdays and Fridays, and now Wednesday, and now Thursday too.
Well, I'm so sorry to be a nuisance.
I got you blocked out every day now for the podcast that you guys your team has. It's great. I have a similar question to the previous guest, a little more specific though, because we're working very closely with the brand, and I had listened to your talk about how you bought a clothing brand that had like 1,000+ SKUs, and sometimes I listen to Jason talking about how they scaled to manage 1,000 SKUs for PPC. And one of the things that there are literally almost no tools for that are specific to Amazon is support case management, whether it's Vendor Central, brand registry, or seller support. And we've sort of developed a little bit of a naming scheme, and we use ClickUp, a combination of ClickUp and something like Visio called Cacao for workflow development for it. And I'm wondering how you guys manage, I guess, both documenting your workflow for support case management, because I know like your UPC GTN updating, you said in one of your podcasts, you're about 20% successful the first go around. We're about the same, about 20-25%. And I'm wondering,
100, but could take weeks. Yes.
Yeah, you can get to 100 if you just keep pressuring them and going different routes. And maybe I'll ask that separately. But what kind of formats you use to name your cases to help you track them? How do you what tools you use to help do reporting on them and document results? What kind of
very deep in the weeds questions, and I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that I do is that in the subject line of a case, I make sure it makes sense to me. Right now, what I'm hearing from you, Robert, is you are filing hundreds, if not thousands, of monthly tickets, and so you're looking for naming conventions of ticketing, and that is, I got to tell you, that's respectable, sir, because a lot of people don't go to that level. But at your scale, and I sense the scale in question. Like the business book of the theme of this podcast is scaling up, right? Like one of the best business books out there. I also love, I'll outline my favorite business books here because I mentioned it. Traction's another good one. Extreme Ownership, you'll see behind me here. The Road Less Stupid. Those are my favorite business books that have really factored in how to my theology of business orientation exists. So, but anyway, so let's get tactical. Put the ASIN in the subjects of every ticket. Now, I knew you were going to be nodding your head and be like, I do that one, Steven. Come on, give me something better than that. But I have to give an answer that also helps the beginners out there. Putting the ASIN in can be very, very helpful. The second thing that I would do is, what is the ticket about? So if it's a UPC change, call it a UPC change, right? Yeah. And then if you really feel the necessity to get deeper than that, and I don't really know on a UPC change that you probably don't need to, but if you feel
UPC in the title, for instance.
Yeah. So then if we really want to get super segmented, I would put the old UPC to new UPC inside of the subject line. Now, I don't think that part's necessary, but it might be in some instances, depending on scaling. All right. So inside of the ticketing, though, there's naming conventions to keep track of tickets. That's one thing. But then the next question is, okay, I filed 1,000 of these. Which ones worked? Which ones didn't? How do I keep up with that? Okay, so Amazon, as you've probably heard me complain about, puts a bunch of superfluous text and commentary into their responses, which means
we copy every response into our tracking. Every response.
And that's a lot of work, right? And so are you creating a ticketing system in your own system right now?
Well, we're using ClickUp to basically, our VA teams copy our original case, and then they copy every response into the comments, whether it's a response we made or Amazon made.
Got it.
Into the comments, and then we may comment below that saying, okay, this is a brick wall denial, let's try another path, or be persistent, or something like that.
All right, so I need to know the layering. Who is reviewing the ticket initially? So you got virtual assistants or employees, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's layer 2? Because I want to know when you enter into the picture. So
layer 2, they'll either someone below me or me, they'll tag us and click up saying this is a new type of response we haven't got before for this case type. We need somebody to chime in on it.
So that's why you're having them copy and paste the comments over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we document all of them. ClickUp in some instances you can calculate your we mark a case as positive or negative. We calculate our success rate based on case types. I was wondering how you guys do, because you guys have mentioned very specific success rates and very specific failure rates on many things you do. So I'm wondering how you guys get there too.
It's a question of just the sheer volume of the ones that we do. That's how we've come to those conclusions by seeing it time and time again. Often the case, it's a moving target. Right. So like 2 years ago, I could change a UPC code in 5 minutes, no problem. And today it could take 5 weeks, right? Like, so it's a moving target. Throw restock limits into the mix and some of these other things that are just really difficult things to tackle and to do. Anyway, so I think you're doing a lot of good things so far. So the next question, I guess, to try and figure out the answer to your question as we dive deeper into this is, what are you worried about? Like, what's not working for you today?
Well, we all know Amazon changes their SOPs all the time. And like, for instance, with changing UPC through Vendor Central, we've noticed that there are 3 responses they give us all the time. Either they say, we can't do this, it only has third-party contribution. And no matter how much I push, they still stick to their gun. So they have an SOP that tells them, doesn't matter what they say, follows. The second one.
Do you have a Seller Central account?
And we have a Seller Central too. So our second step is we hit that brick wall. We open the same case in Seller Central.
Yep.
And usually they'll accept it. We attach the GS1 cert on every case to say we are the brand. We have authority to do this. So, and it's interesting. And then other times in Vendor Central, even though I know this is a third-party created ASIN for the brand, and we open a case saying, please replace the UPC, they just say, we've done it. So
They
it's,
just lie?
it's luck of the draw.
Support lies? Never.
It's luck of the draw. But once they're on a certain path of SOP, it seems like they just follow it to the T, no matter what. Breaking parentage is a little bit more successful. We always do with the Vendor Central because it's just a little bit easier. But I was, wondering about the SOPs. Slight follow-up question to this before I close out.
I don't know that we've answered your original question quite yet, but keep going.
Your UPC replacement techniques. We usually go through Vendor Central, and then we follow up through Seller Central. And if both are unsuccessful, wait 7 days, try again. Is that generally the process?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Because you need the case to close out before you open the new one to really.
Is 7 days a good time frame, or?
I don't know if it needs to be as much as 7. I think as soon as the old case is closed, you're good. So probably 3 would be okay. And you could A/B test that question a little bit, but I think as long as the case is closed, they don't see duplicate cases, so they don't have the excuse to say, well, I'm going to merge these cases to solve it. I think is probably the litmus test.
That's what I worry about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So I really want to try and attempt to give you some sort of specific actionable thing to leave with today. And I feel like I'm coming up a little bit short because you're doing so many things correct and you just need reassurance.
Well, yeah, I'd love a pat on the back, but that aside, I want to take action and see, because it seems like you guys are super organized for scale. You have to be you guys mentioned something around 300 client brands or something like that you guys are working with. It's massive. You can't do that without scale and reporting up and down the chain and feedback loops.
Okay, so here's the part that I didn't hear you mention at any point in time. It's alerts. Yeah. So I wonder if in your system, do you have a way to alert when a ticket is at risk of closing without success and needs a escalation?
Oh, yeah. We set alert. We use ClickUp to document all of this.
Okay.
And we set a due date alert for the next day if they know they want to check it the next day, or they can set a due date and then assign it to me. We have a whole alert system, and I'm very curious. You guys don't seem to use ClickUp. Is it all an internal system?
So we use Asana for project management. Which is similar. I think you probably are happy with ClickUp is what I'm hearing.
I am. I couldn't live personally or business wise without it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't make a change there based on what I heard. But what I would say is this: we use a crap ton of Zapier alerts, and we use Slack. And so when certain things happen in our systems that need immediate attention, we create a Slack alert to flag and tag, and immediately go attack. Now, we're not today using Zapier with ticketing, to be clear. That's probably where we will be in the future. Also, I'm about 45 days away from going live with a new internal software, and I call it Hybrid. And it's going to be a game changer for our agency. No longer logging into Amazon. No longer logging into Asana, everything in one house and 7 other bells and whistles. But the reason I share that is because I'm investing in the future scale that doesn't exist today. So you think it's hard at 300, imagine me at 1,000. Right?
Yeah,
How are we going to
completely agree.
Yeah,
so I'd love to be able to scrape the support cases and have them internal and not have the VAs log in and get the data ever. But that's, farther down the road.
That's a massive scale undertaking for sure. And virtual assistant labor is very scalable in the current situation versus, one developer might cost you the same cost to get the amount of bodies you already need currently. So it's a hard investment, hard leap of faith to do some of those changes. All right. So Robert, I really liked your questions. I think you probably are doing a lot of the right things today. And a check and balance or an alert system might be a way to level it up a little bit, but by and large, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great.
Thanks. I'll see you Friday. I'll see you guys Friday too.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming on, Robert. So we'll remove Robert from the stream and he can continue watching on the YouTube channel. So the next people we have in line is Nikhil and then Brian. So let's go in order here. And we also had Alec come back. I think he had previously left. I'm looking down the list. All right, so we're going to go to Alec next, catch him back up. Hey, Alec, welcome
Hey,
back.
thank you.
I love the
Doing well.
guitars in the background.
Oh, yeah, there's a few of them there.
Just a few. All right. So you're good. So how could I help today?
Well, yeah, I've got a SKU that actually stocked out since we were doing a redesign of it, just a small part of it. And so the product was revised, came back, and meanwhile, like I say, at Amazon.com, it stocked out. But so what I had done this a few months ago, we immediately sent product back on Amazon.com. It came up, listing was fine. It started selling, but my Amazon.com or .ca account doesn't show. It shows the listing is stocked out, and I can't seem to get it, working again. I've got other products, other ASINs that are on Amazon.ca, but this particular one won't backfill or won't. I'm having a problem. There must be a step I'm missing along the way.
I have a couple ideas. Okay, so do you have NARF online on any SKUs?
I don't know what that is.
North American Remote Fulfillment Program. This is where you would ship out of U.S. inventory out of FBA U.S. into Canada.
Oh yeah, Mexico. Yeah, it's North America, right?
Yeah,
Mexico and Canada. Yeah,
that's currently enabled.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So with that in mind, I would recommend creating a new SKU on the same ASIN.
A new SKU.
My prediction is your situation. You have a SKU enrolled in NARF. It might be out of stock in the US and you're shipping in direct to Canada FBA. Did I get that?
Opposite. I send in to Amazon.com, and then from there it takes care of the distribution to Mexico and to Canada.
Okay. So are you shipping anything direct into Canada?
No. I used to. I mean, you're like 5 years ago before NARF came by.
But you're worried about being live in Canada, correct?
On this particular ASIN, yeah.
Okay.
All the other ones seem to be fine.
It's 100% a NARF question. Okay, so you need to figure out if that SKU got unenrolled from NARF or removed from NARF, one of those two. So what I would do is I would look at the NARF enrollment, and I do have videos on this. So if you Google NARF, NARF, just like Pinky and the Brain NARF, and my Amazon guy, I have videos with links that specifically show how to enroll a SKU into NARF or unenroll it. And I recommend as your next step, Alec, is to go in and try and re-enroll this into NARF and see what happens. I'm pretty certain I found your solution. I would love for you to report back and let me know either way. And if that doesn't solve it, I'm not sure what else to do on this particular issue, but I want to keep supporting you if I can.
I really appreciate it. We've got cases that have been, that don't seem to.
This is not a ticketing thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So this is going to be a NARF template upload in a specific place you may not have been before.
Okay. NARF. Okay.
So since this is so technical, I'm not going to demo it today. But if you watch those videos on how to do a NARF upload, it'll solve your problem. Pretty sure.
Okay. NARF upload. Now, does that mean I've got to change the name of the ASIN?
No. So your specific situation, I think you simply just need to re-upload the enrollment.
Oh, beautiful. If that's all it is, man.
Now enrollment switched from being manual to automatic, and I'm wondering if something automatically unenrolled it. So that's the possibility. So, and then the second thing that I would do is look at the SKU. Is the SKU the same in Canada as it is in the US?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's good. All right, here's the third thing I would look at. Try making a new SKU on the same ASIN, and then try and enroll that one into NARF if the first one bugs. And that might be your backup solution.
Okay, well, then how does that affect Amazon.com then and all the inventory that I have there?
Yeah, it won't. Create
two different
quickly in Canada.
Okay, but for the same product, being able to Amazon.
You can have unlimited SKUs on an FBA ASIN. You can ship a SKU FBM, FBA, SFP. And so there's complete white hat recommendation here. Duplicate the SKU on the same ASIN and then try and re-enroll it in NARF.
Okay. But you're saying I can use different SKUs though for that same ASIN?
Correct.
Huh. Interesting.
So like, for example, when we talked about restock limits today, Some people are going to stock out of FBA. And so it behooves you and other sellers, if you fear that, create a duplicate SKU FBM and have your regular SKU FBA. And so what I generally do is I'll take the regular SKU and I'll add a suffix -FBM and then make that the FBM SKU. And then I'll add quantity to it and then I put $1 higher. Then if FBA ever stocks out, FBM just kicks in and wins the buy box.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So duplicating SKUs. I have a video on duplicating SKUs. Check that out one too. That might help you. Alec, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
I think we got a good lead for you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. We'll see you. All right. So I believe Nikhil and then Brian is next in line here. All right. So Nikhil, welcome. Almost had you, Brian. You almost jumped the line, Brian B. You're coming up. All right, Nikhil, how can I help today?
Yeah. So I've got a question about my supplement brand. We launched it about 3 weeks ago, and it's gone like fairly well.
I just wanted to show Brian doing stretches. I missed the best part. He was doing some good stretches.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, so we launched our supplement brand 3 weeks ago, but we're probably going to have a stock out. I want to know the best way to come back and get my kind of velocity back.
Okay, how long were you stocked out for?
We're not stocked out just yet, so we're probably going to be stocked out for, I would say, 7 days.
Okay, have you raised prices yet?
No.
I would raise prices and try and limit the 7-day stock out to less than that. And there is a hot debate on this one. Okay.
Yeah, because I heard Mina say just go out with like high velocity.
I love Mina.
Yeah.
Here's one that I would go on stage and battle him on. And I would recommend raising the prices for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it's margin, dude. Take the margin. Reason 2, when you come back in stock and lower the price, guess what you get on the listing? You get a nice little strike through that says lowest price in 30 days.
Okay.
And that's going to help the velocity spike up even more. If you were telling me you were going to stock out over 3 months, we might have a different conversation. But you said 7 days. So what I would do is I would raise the price, slow it down, take the margin, get some sales, make sure list price is updated on the back end so the strike through shows up. And then, so instead of 7 day stock out, maybe it's a 3 day stock out because you raised your prices.
Okay. So deliberately get less sales now.
Yeah, correct. And then there is a feature where you can take sales before the item hits FBA. And I forget the name of the program off the top of my head. It's like auto enrolled though. So you may not actually stock out as long as you think, as long as the shipment is made.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have a video on this. I forget the name of it. What is it called? It might be like Head Start or something like that.
Get sales, but it just won't be Prime, I'm pretty sure. I'll just have a later delivery date.
Okay. Are you on Vendor Central or Seller?
Seller Central.
So, okay. So the delivery date will be different, which is the downside to the situation. But in a stock out situation, you don't have a better option. Okay. So those are, I'm really confident, raise the price, slow it down, get the strike out. You're going to want that because then in Black Friday, you're going to be like, I'm the lowest price. I look like I'm on sale, but I don't even have to lower my price. So I'm pretty confident it's a really strong recommendation for you. Here's another alternative. Instead of raising the price, another thing you could do is add an FBM option, which seems to be a topic I've talked about 3 times in this hour. And instead of stocking out, just ship FBM.
Okay.
Have you ever done that? Do you have the ability to do that?
I can ship out of my house, yeah. But
not a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
But if we're talking, let's say you move 50 units a day, hard to give away 50 units a day in sales. So I would do a combination of what we discussed, and depending on how painful FBM would be for you, I would go that route. So raise prices, add an FBM, look at the Head Start. The restock will stink. You might have to lower PPC if you do that. FBM might be better than the restock Head Start, to be honest, because the conversion will be higher with FBM, believe it or not.
Okay, got it. I've got one other quick question.
Go ahead.
Right. So we have a functional chewing gum product. It's caffeine chewing gum, but we're going to launch some other functional chewing gums. Would you recommend just building one power listing with just loads of different SKUs, or would you split the listings out?
This is a great question, and I get this question all the time because it's complicated. Parentage Theory 101. If you have two products that are both exceptional, separate them. If you have one product that's exceptional and 4 okay, or in your case, 4 new or whatever, parent them together. If at any point in time, your A and your B get close together, split. There are people that will argue this, and you can go back and forth on this, but there's just a lot of power to the ability to show up multiple times in search results. If you only have one power SKU, though, the other secondary SKUs can't be found very well without being connected to the power listing. So when launching a new product, parent all day long. Like that's a hard and fast rule for me. Okay. If we're talking about when to separate them, I would not separate them unless there was a second power listing to combine with them.
Got it. Got that. I've got another question. If you could
fill it in. We're on a roll.
We're selling about 35 units a day, and our PPC is at a 1.4 ROAS, which is unprofitable. But overall, we are profitable.
So one PPC sale leads to 3 organic over 6 months. That's kind of how you can justify it. But go ahead.
Yeah, but basically we're profitable, but at about a 7%, because obviously like the organic sales are coming. Would you recommend toning down that PPC to gain profitability, or just wait it out and try and maybe boost conversion rates?
Pretty much no wrong answer to this question. You could start to lower the PPC, and negations is the fastest way to lower PPC costs. Go look at the search term report and add some negations. But in addition to that, go look at the search query performance report, that brand analytics. That'll give you some keywords that you should focus on, and then maybe you should slough off some other ones. But when I had this happen for me, I found and I'm going to go over to my brand analytics. We're going to go to my Age of Sage brand, and there was a keyword. Sage candles for cleansing house. It's in slot 7 for me right now. There's 3,300 search volume a week. So it's a pretty good keyword. And my click rate is 42%. My brand share is 8.4%. I have a very high CTR on this product. And when I initially started doing research with the brand analytics search query performance report, my CTR was a little bit lower than that. I think but it was still abnormally higher than I thought it should be, considering the product that I sold was smudge sticks. It wasn't a candle. And so when you're looking at conversion data, and I think you said supplements, is that right?
Yeah.
So supplements, your competitors are doing very well with putting the keyword that matters on the packaging, right? But when you go look at the brand analytics and you see something like this show up, you're often caught by surprise, right?
Yeah.
And if you're caught by surprise that there's a keyword in the system that you weren't paying attention to, that's not in your title, it's not in your listing, take immediate action. Add it to your title, add it to your listing, maybe even add it to your main image. And when you do that, your costs will go down.
Okay.
Right? So huge opportunity to win more conversion points, more market share, if you will, by analyzing that report. So as a supplement brand, you need to be hyper optimized. Failure to do so, you'll get eaten by your competition.
Yeah, definitely. How are you indexing for like competitor keywords on your listing?
PPC is generally the fastest and best way. So having a competitor PPC campaign, headline ads is the secret sauce on this one.
Yeah.
I don't recommend
that, don't you? And we only have one at the moment, so I definitely
I don't recommend putting an exact match of your competitor on a listing. That's too risky. It's also like trademark infringement. But if my number one competitor is Dr. Squatch, and I know they watch my videos, and we have the exact soap, we just package it differently. If I put them in my listing, I guarantee you they would attack me immediately.
Yeah.
But if I put Doctor in one location and Squatch somewhere else, I'm going to get away with that.
Okay.
And so you can get creative with how you do that and get around things. But PPC is the best option. It's the easiest. It's also white hat. No problem.
Yeah. But yeah, because what I want to do is organically rank for when they type up competitors. so
Yep.
not through PPC. But I've got a few people that do reviews and they leave it in the review, but I don't know how well that will index to competitors.
That actually does work. So you could this product's way better than Dr. Squatch.
Yeah,
That does work.
yeah, cool.
It does work. If you can't index on a keyword, ask it in the questions.
Yeah, and like a competitor of ours is Run Gum. So are you saying we could add the word run a few times and then gum in other places? Doesn't have to
Yes.
be like gum. Okay.
Yes, just don't do an exact match ever.
Okay.
And be careful on how you use it. So when we're talking what we just talked about, that's gray, right?
Yeah.
You probably won't get in trouble, but it's gray. But in terms of asking it in the questions, what's the difference between this product and this product? I think that's white.
Yeah. Cool.
As long as you answer it factually.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for the questions. They were fantastic. Thanks for coming on. Brian B., how are those stretches coming? You ready to go?
Man, I'm getting old. My back hurts now. Wake up. Oh, it's not great. Thank you, Senpai.
You made my day. So welcome onto the My Amazon Guys show, where we're taking live questions, video format. I'm super excited to have you on.
Thank you.
Can I do for you today?
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you, Steven. So I have this listing. I can show it. I don't really mind. And if you look at it on, so the secondary images are really small compared to so here's a hero image.
Feel free to put this linked in the chat if you can, and I'll pull it up on screen so people can see it better.
I don't really know how to do that. This is a whole new format for me.
No problem. So inside of the private chat, you should be able to give me a link to the listing, or if you want, just tell me how to find the product and I'll navigate.
Oh, sure. Go to /Spiffy, SPIFFY.
All right, I'm going to need that phonetically spelled out. I'm sorry.
SPIFFY.
Spiffy.
Oh.
All right.
I got that. That was great. That was amazing for me. And then the one in question that I've got is the Mama Bear one. There's a lot of them with the same issue, but also if you see anything on there, please let me know. That'd be super helpful.
All right, so we'll take a look. I don't know how to find the Mama Bear, so help me out a little bit here.
Second row down, second one in, so 2 and 2.
There we go. Perfect. All right, MA. There we go.
So on PC, it looks great, and the secondary images are like full size, and I do it all in Photoshop, so it looks like full size. But on the actual app itself, it's shrunk down quite considerably. That's why I was showing it to you on the here. So look, it's like really, really shrunk down compared to how it is on the main image. So here's the full size image, and see how it takes up the whole screen versus the secondary image here. It's very shrunk down.
I see exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why it's doing that specifically on the app, but of course, like most of the sellers nowadays are shopping on the app, so I'm not sure how to optimize for that specifically versus the PC version.
Okay, I think I know the answer potentially. Let me pull this back up on screen.
Of course.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So I looked at this in Urfam, and I opened up the image, and it's coming in at 679 pixels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must have got shut down.
I'm going to make sure I did this right. Hold on. Let me try it one more time. Maybe I copied it before I expanded it. So let me try this one more time. 1500 by 1500 now. So never mind on that. Okay, so that was not the answer. So why would they be shrinking it on mobile?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to your question, Brian. That's a really good question. It looks great on desktop. You're right.
Hey, thank you. Thanks.
If anybody watching this knows the answer to why mobile sucks and doesn't look like desktop, I would love to hear from you. What's your theory on this? I assume you've contacted Amazon and got stonewalled?
No, actually, I haven't even opened up a ticket for it yet. That may be the first move to make.
The way that I don't even know where to file this ticket. This is a weird one. The way that I would do it, Brian, is I would file a ticket and show pictures to show the differences. Because trying to get the seller support to understand this one's going to be rough.
Yeah. Rough. I mean, I can avoid them like the plague. Open ticket. Okay.
So I can't answer your question, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you an ASIN review because you were brave enough to show your product on camera today.
Yeah.
Here are things I would do to level up your system. Number one, you have brand store up, but you don't have A+ content.
Oh, that specifically for all my other ones have A+ content on it. They wouldn't link this one for whatever reason. I think there was a naming convention error in the brand name where it was like all caps versus no caps, and they wouldn't add it even if I took the picture with the SKU on it. sent it in. They were just having problems with it, so I got stonewalled.
Okay, so we got some catalog troubles. This is 100% resolvable. What you're going to do is I want you to download a CLR report. That's the category listings report. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not, but I can look into it.
So if you type in backup catalog by Amazon guy, I've got a video tutorial on how to do this.
Okay.
The reason I want you to download this report is I'm gonna bet you a free coaching call right now, Brian, that the UPC field is not filled in.
Which one is filled in?
The UPC field.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm right, and the UPC field is an ASIN instead of the UPC field, that you just simply need to load a new template with the UPC. It'll connect it to your brand, and we'll link, and the A+ content will go live.
Okay, I'm gonna have to review this video because that was a lot of instructions. But I'll get on that one.
Okay, if I'm wrong and the UPC field is showing up there, send me an email to podcast@myamazonguy and say, Steven, where's my free coaching call?
You got it, man. My Amazon guy.
This is a $400 offer that I'm giving Brian. So you guys can see I charge $400 for a coaching call. And then what we're going to do on that coaching call is we're going to try and figure out how to solve it. Because if it's not the UPC field, it's something new, and I want to know what it is.
That would make my day. That would make my day.
All right, so that's the first thing. Let's keep looking around. So let's go back to my screen share. So without, so I'm going to go to a different product then because you need A+ content, all that stuff. So you got A+ content. Guess what else you need?
What else? Story.
Right above the A+ content is a thing called the brand story. It's a brand new module, and you need to load it.
I have it. I don't know why. Again, it's not loading on all of my ASINs and all my brands. So on the other, it should be there. Yeah, it's not very strong, if I'm honest with you. It's probably the one thing that I need to work on the most. Check the most developed one is that one. Yeah, that would be the most developed ASIN.
Yeah, here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
This is boring though. These images are great, but your overall back is boring. So to think of this as like its own module right here, you could load anything you want there. So you have a cool product. It's great. So fun. You can have fun when you do your stuff. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
You know what you obviously you don't even need my advice. You get 1,500 reviews. You're doing something right? So you're doing good. Now, having said that, there's always ways you can improve and things to level up. So what I would do is I would take an image like this and make that the background with like a panoramic kind of view to it. And then as I scroll to the right, I get to see more of the image and see some cool stuff. I like what you've done here with one major exception. I can't click on any of these products, bro.
Okay.
And so what you need to do is you need to switch the brand story over to a format like I have where the products are clickable.
Right.
I'm going to scroll down and see how I can click each of these products like that. Now, that doesn't mean you need to do like 4 rows. You can have some photos like you've done. And probably what I would do is probably a 2-to-1 ratio. I'd probably, obviously these images are fantastic. Like there's no question about it. Other than the fact that this one's not cropped the same way, I'll give you crap for that design. But the images themselves are great. And I don't know if you photoshopped them or went out and shot them, but either way, it doesn't matter. They're great. So what I would do is I would show probably a 2-to-3 ratio, right? This is fine. No changes needed here.
Okay.
Take one of these images. This one's pretty good. Put that as the main backdrop.
Yeah. Then
have a row of 4 products right here in place where that currently is.
Yeah.
Then 2-to-1 ratio. So every third module have a graphic like you currently do, but replace 2 of these modules with 4-pack, 4 module stacked brand story. And what this is going to do is it's going to link your products together. Yeah. And okay, so I really want to have the mama bear, but how do I find it, Brian? I don't know. Like you saw how long it took me to find your product when we first started the podcast, right? So your consumers are not trained how to find stuff. So help them by linking products together. Now, granted, you have this down here. However, I think the mistake here is I can't read any of this.
Of course.
These products are like they don't connect with me. But guess what does connect with me? These right here, the straight shots. So what I would do is I would put these shots in these modules down here. Here's your litmus test. Can you show your 60-year-old grandma the image and they can read it to you in 5 seconds. If yes, it's good. If no, no.
Okay,
no
got it.
Read these. I can't read them.
Sure.
All right. So
that's optimized on mobile. So when you went through mobile, you would see them and it would fill up the gaps. So that way, as you scrolled in, they would be a lot longer to get down to the next person.
Yeah, that's a good counterpunch, by the way. However, I think that if you tested loading the other ones, they would probably still look okay on mobile.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, so here's the next thing. Let's just check your alt text real quick.
Please.
And seize the day, which is a great phrase, and it matches the image, which is good. But you can set 100 characters in the alt text, and so what you're going to want to do is set 100 characters under each photo's alt text so that they are optimized for keywords. And so now your current brand story is good. It gets a B grade from me. If you want to take this from a B to an A, you need to make the changes we talked about from a design aspect, link the products like we have here.
Sure. Every third module.
And set the alt text for every single photo. Now right now, you have what? Probably 10 photos here. Compare that to mine. It's like 30 photos. And 30 photos times 100 characters of alt text.
That's a lot of SEO.
Amazing amount of keywords, right?
Yeah.
Amazing amount of keywords. So think about the SEO juice that you have available. All right, next tip, switching subjects.
Yes.
You have enough products to qualify for premium A+ content. So your homework item is to make sure you have 15 A+ content submissions in the next within the last 12 months and the brand story live. And then ticket and ask for access to premium A+ content. You might already have access, you just don't even know yet. The way that you find access, so let me log in off screen here real fast.
Sure.
And then I'm going to show you where you can go to check it. It's very basic. And you're going to want to get premium A+ content live. So inside of here, so to get here, hamburger menu, advertising A+ content manager, create, and you have basic. This is what you have currently. You have your brand story, which is good. And then this new module will show up here called Premium. And Premium looks like this, where you have all of these new modules. And look at the space we can take. See how I can click on that. See how I can like play a video right there, right? Like, so a lot of cool things become available. And look at the size of just everything. Like, just look at the sheer volume. Like, let me show you one more image size. And it's incredible, like the game changer premium A+ content will make from a conversion standpoint.
Yeah.
So watch this image. One scroll, two scrolls, a 2 scroll size gigantic image. Isn't this just a beautiful image?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And so those are a lot of design opportunities in your future. So those are your homework items. The other homework item I'm going to give you, Brian, is I want to see a picture of you stretching in one of your secondary images on one of these locations. Okay? and the point I'm trying to make here is, where is the human, man?
Yeah, of course.
It is showing me how much better I'm going to feel on an adventure in California, showing me this. It's spiffy. There is no person avatar. There's no customer avatar anywhere.
Yeah.
Who's the customer?
They're actually it in, and there is a human avatar, but for some reason it's not loading up in those ones. There's that one, but he's not facing the camera or smiling, which is also your recommendation, if I believe.
Ryan listens to the show. Can you tell, guys? Yeah. All right, that's good. So yes, I would recommend, and we looked at a second random one. People understand your product very quickly. So you have a lot of things going for you, Brian. You've done a lot of good work, right?
Thank you.
I understand what I'm getting the second I look at it. Makes perfect sense. And you don't even need a banana for scale because it's car for scale, right? So you don't even have that problem. But what you do have is, let's talk customer avatar. So Brian, who is your customer? And don't tell me everybody with a car.
No, it's definitely not everybody with a car. It's mostly like overlanding people who like to mod their cars in general. And as far as like the mods go, I target people who have like roof rack baskets or tow hitch installations. So I actually do a lot of that targeting to retarget them to my thing because it's a lot cheaper. It's only $15 compared to some $300 accessories that people put onto their cars.
So talk to me. Are you selling to 3-time divorced truck drivers? Who's your customer avatar?
Oh, specifically, actually, so there's different segmentations for our target customers. Some of them are maybe like females, age maybe 16 to 30, and then there's a whole nother segmentation for different SKUs where they are from 24 to like 30 as well, and they're all male, and they're all adventure hiking outdoor enthusiasts.
So the SKUs that are teenage girls need to show teenage girls, and I want to see busty teenage girls. And then on the other ones that are for men, I also want to see teenage busty girls. No, I'm kidding. But show me the customer avatar. Like, show me who you are selling to, right? Like, now you gave me surface level answer, then you gave me scratch of the surface level. I want you to go deeper for me, Brian. Okay. Are you selling to hippies, or are you selling to the people that are on the opposite side? Like, who is the customer avatar? You don't need to tell me the answer, hippie or not. That wasn't the point of the question. But like what is so unique about your customer that if you could find 1 million of this answer, you could sell 1 million copies because every single one of them would convert? Who is that?
It would be Subaru owners, and it would be RAV4 owners, and it would be people specifically. But those two models of cars, I see a lot of them even on the streets. It's great. Like, I actually drive around and I see people with my plate frames on. It's amazing.
Great. What is the number one problem those people have?
The number one problem is that when they buy a new car, they still come with their dealer license plates.
Great. Make content about that.
Okay.
And all right, so that was good. Now, forget your product for a second. By the way, I hear beeping. Is that like a 3D printer in the background?
No, I don't have anything running. It might be my heater. Here, let me turn it off. It's freezing here.
No, you're fine. I was just curious, like, because I like your setup in the back. That I'm like, this dude's an engineer. I can just tell, right? Like, but anyway, okay. So this is the unique thing that we can't do when I just take readable comments. So I'm having fun, guys.
You too.
All right. So Brian, I forgot the question. Gosh dang it. All right. So we're talking about customer avatar. Let me take this deeper. Let's zone into the medium here. What are you selling? And don't tell me you're selling a product. What are you selling?
No, I'm selling a solution to a problem, which is that people don't want to seem like they are not customizing their vehicles. They want to seem like they personalize their vehicles, and like they love their cars. So therefore they want to add things that they are making them love their cars more.
Would you say that you're selling identity?
Yeah, I would.
Guys, did you get rewind the tape? See how Brian's eyebrow went up? That was an aha moment right there. Okay.
Yeah, it is. You're selling
identity. So if you were selling identity, talk identity politics. And I don't mean like identity politics. What I mean is talk about what makes them identify themselves, that this product makes them identify themselves, right? So I think that politicians, I think that marketers should be criticized. I think marketers have become politicians. And marketers need to do the opposite of what a politician does, right? So a politician's job is to cast a wide tent and get as many votes as possible. A marketer's job is to do the exact opposite of that. And this is what throws people off. Like, this is the stuff that nobody else is saying, right? But my job as a marketer, your job as a marketer, because you're a marketer now, is to polarize. You just told me who your customer is, what makes them tick, and why. Great. Plaster your listings with everything that goes along with that, right? So you need to have your listing chock full of identity, right? You need to show mama bear with their kids. You need to show actual bears with their cubs in the forest, right? You need to show what makes them tick. Because when you do this, your conversion rate is going to soar. It's going to go up a lot. Because and I'm going to circle back to the tent comment, right? So politician's job, many votes as possible, come under the tent. Marketer's job is to have a smaller tent and to have the people, when they show up in that tent, they look around the room and say, I belong. I know who is around me. and I belong. And
So-
they all get along. All right,
Okay.
so I see Brian taking some notes, which is great. So now that you've got a lot of action items, you're like, okay, crap, man, where do I start? So start with the brand story,
Mhm.
and then figure out if you're getting a free coaching call by seeing if you can get the A+ content associated.
I already looked at how much it costs. I was like, oh man, that would be. Should I just do that?
There's a few people watching. They're like, yeah, I've put that off, but I love Steven so much, I'll eventually get around to giving back. So with that in mind, we actually have a new swag page. Let me see if it's online. I actually haven't even checked this.
Well, next time you'll see me wearing it.
Yeah. So let's see if we have a new swag page up or not. Verdict is we do. So if anybody wants to support me, just go to myamazonguy.com/swag. These are the 3 brands that I own. You can buy some products. And then here is some MAG merchandise available. Hopefully my team has programmed the order buttons, because I'm not sure if they have. It looks like this one, the ball cap is not orderable yet.
Oh.
Looks like the cotton shirt isn't either. Okay, so Geraldine, we need to get this over to the team so we can get this online, since we just chimed in on the podcast unexpectedly. But if you guys want, come in, buy some soaps, grab some clothing for your woman, or for yourself if you're feminine, and then host it. You got some of these things here. So check out the swag if you guys want to support the channel. I'm an idiot, and I booked a call in 3 minutes. So we're going to be ending the podcast here in a couple of minutes. Brian, I thought we had a great discussion. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you having my call. Thank you so much, Steven. It was great speaking with you.
Abdullah, I don't have time to give you more than a 60-second answer, but thank you for waiting so long in the back. What is your question? I'm going to give you the fastest answer ever.
Hello, Steven. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, so basically, I want to discuss about my product, which I launched 2 months ago. So basically, I launched my product, and my product performed very well. Like I took the start with 400 units, but I thought they would last for 2 months, but they ran out in the first month. So basically, when 50 units were left, I increased the price. I lowered down the PPC to save my ranking, but my ranking lost all the way. So now my product get in stock. So now I want to discuss with that which strategy I should apply now to rank again my product, because my product rank was 4. My keyword, I ranked on 4th position, but now my position is 20. So I want to discuss which strategy I need to follow to again rank on that position. So,
Okay,
if you were in my place, what would be your strategy now?
So is this a specific keyword?
Yeah, that is
Okay.
specific keyword.
Is the keyword on the main image?
Yes, sorry.
Do you have the keyword that you ranked 20 for today in the main image? So if we
Not
look,
in the
if we look at,
main image, but in the title.
you need to have it on the main image. If this keyword is so important to you that this is your question today, you need to have it in the main image. By the way, Geraldine, it looks like all of our links on the swag page are not even set up yet. We need to get that. We need to get that fixed stat. Grab whoever we can. Let's get that done. All right. So main image here. You need to have the text of whatever that keyword is on the main image. There's a lot of ways you can make this happen. You can have packaging where you show it into the packaging shot or whatever it is. So I wish I could give you a longer answer, but I just wanted to make sure I got you on camera today because you were waiting so long, Abdullah. So thanks for coming on the My Podcast. Thank you. So that's all we have time for today. That's the My Amazon Guy podcast. We're going to be doing this every Thursday. I find this to be a highly successful episode today. I'm so excited. I got to talk to so many people on camera. The bad news is I didn't get a look at the comment section at all, and I'm so sorry about that. Come back tomorrow for Jason. He'll answer your questions in the comments. Every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join us next time, you just got to join the StreamYard link. We'll give you links to that right before we go online. You guys are fantastic. Slam that like button. Add a comment to this video about customer avatar. Let's see if we can rank this video for customer avatar and your journey on Amazon. We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.